people are moving to Georgia every single month, and this year, more so than in years past. Well, how does that affect the market? What does that mean for you if you're ready to buy a house here? That's what we're going to talk about today. So join the Georgia Coast Homes team for our very first ever live. Welcome, everybody. I am joined here today with Nicole Moore, who is a specialist on the Georgia Coast Homes team. We thought we would have a little live stream today and talk about what the market is doing, because we've seen some pretty amazing and drastic changes to the Georgia real estate market in the past year. And nobody is better qualified to talk about it than Nicole, who is out in the trenches doing this every single day. So Nicole, welcome. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. So I am the senior buyer / relocation specialist for the Georgia Coast Homes team. So I am the one, if you reach out to our team, I am the one that is directly going to be reaching out to you or showing you homes or getting you under contract. So that is my purpose here. I've been in real estate for about...
It's about a little over 2 years now, right?
Yeah,
2.5 years?
yeah. And we've had so many amazing clients. So we can't wait to share with you guys more about the Georgia market. And if you guys are looking to come here, this information will definitely be valuable for you.
So when you relocated here, you came from upstate New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was it like at the time when you moved here several years ago? Tell us what it was like when you personally were house hunting.
So I would say there has been a huge change since that time frame. We were coming here because of the military. So we do have a lot of military people that PCS to Georgia because we do have 2 Army bases here. So we were coming because of a PCS order. And when we were coming here, I felt like we had a lot of options and we didn't have to rush to make a decision. And of course, Karin was our real estate agent at that time. And we found her on YouTube, ironically, but
such a shocker.
Yeah, but it wasn't as high pressure as it is right now, I'd say, with being the amount of homes available to go see and just the options available. There was a lot more at that time than there is now.
I remember because you guys were in New York. You were not able to physically come here for house hunting trips. So I was going to these houses and taking videos for you. And I felt like we had time. I could make an appointment, go see the house, take the video, upload it to the platform that we use. You guys could look at the video and then make a decision. And it wasn't like, you got to make a decision in the next 5 minutes. So how has that changed in what you're seeing now?
It is just completely different. And because the Georgia Coast Homes, we specialize in relocating, we have buyers in every single price range, from the 200s up to $1 million. And I'm finding that there is not a single price range that is having difficulty right now with the amount of inventory and the decision that someone has to make right away. So it really is a challenge for those who are relocating here not to physically be here and be able to make a decision. So, for example, I was showing houses last week to a buyer that came from Oregon. And on their list that I had been sending them, they had about 14 properties that they had favorited. Well, by the time they got here, there was like 6 of them available. All of them had went contingent or under contract within a few weeks.
And that's really crazy because when I moved to Savannah many years ago, it was not a hot seller's market. It was really like 3 to 6 months worth of inventory was pretty typical. In some parts, there were more like 9 months worth of inventory. I would put a house on the market for a seller. I remember one, it was in Richmond Hill, which was a very desirable area where everybody wanted to live. And it took us 9 months to sell it, between putting it on the market and then waiting for the right person to come along. And then we had to go through the holidays. So we had Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then get an offer. It goes under contract, fell out of contract, put it back on the market, get another buyer. This one finally goes through. It was literally 9 months from start to finish. Now, so as we were doing our research, what were you finding out is the typical length of time from the day that we put it on the market to the day we are at the closing table handing the buyer their keys?
So typically that full process, when I was doing a little bit of research, is about 50 days that it's looking like.
Okay. And so that is literally from start to finish. In other areas of the country, because we talk to real estate agents all over the world, they will say we count it as from the day that it went pending to the day that it closed. So they'll say our average days on market is 17 days. Well, what they mean is from the time it went under contract to the day that it closed. We're talking about from the day that we list it on the MLS. It goes out on Zillow, it goes out on Redfin, it goes out on all of those public websites from that day to the day that it closes. And so, yes, that time frame has shortened up significantly. Doug Bolins is watching today, and he said that they're supposed to get 12 inches of snow in central Massachusetts today. So, tell us some of the reasons why you are enjoying living in Georgia after having lived in a lot of other places where it snows quite a bit.
Well, like I tell most of my clients, I was a military brat, and then my husband was in the military. So I have moved every 2 to 3 years of my life, and I've been out of the country, in the country, all over the United States. I've been in almost every single type of weather. I don't think there's any that I've never been in. And when we came from New York, we were in upstate New York, which is about 30 minutes away from Canada. And we would get lake effect snow, and it would snow like 16 inches. And they'd be like, all right, it's going to snow 16 inches. Everybody still has to go to work. And it was just crazy. And it was cold. You were in the house about maybe 9 to 10 months out of the year. And then you had like 2 months where you could go out and feel normal. So coming here to Georgia, the weather, even though it's really hot in the summer and humid, those few months that you have to deal with that, the rest of the year is absolutely beautiful. So I always tell people that this is like my favorite weather here in Georgia. I love the cool weather that we have right now, even though some people might not enjoy it. I love it because when I lived in Florida, it doesn't get very cold there. So you actually see a seasonal change here in Georgia, which I think is absolutely amazing.
I agree. Our friend Corey is on right now and said, "Oh, we are way past 12 inches of snow here in New Jersey. They got clobbered last night with a snowstorm." Yeah, it's funny. I was out yesterday with a leaf blower blowing all of the fall leaves off of our driveway. We do get a fall. It's just that it doesn't usually start until December or January. It's kind of weird. Like when all of the leaves fall off of the trees, it's much later than in the north. So we do get it. It just happens later in the year. And then our winter is fairly short. Right now, it's kind of chilly. We're feeling like we need to wear coats. And what is our temperature today? It's like 55 degrees. So it's not exactly frigid. It's chilly. It makes you feel like you're having a winter, but we are not shoveling snow. We are not having snow days. We rarely have ice storms. I agree with you. I really like the weather here. July and August, let's call it what it is, insanely hot and very, very sticky and humid. But luckily, that's only 2 months of the year. The rest of the time, it's pretty good. So, having talked about that, what are other reasons that you see people are relocating here? Because I was pulling up some statistics earlier. In 2019, almost 300,000 people moved to Georgia. Now, that was in 2019 pre COVID. I know without a shadow of a doubt that number has gone up significantly in 2020 because you and I are seeing all of these people that are coming to us on a daily basis saying we want to relocate to Georgia and we want to buy a house when we get there. So I will be very interested to see what that number actually turns out to be after we gather all those numbers from 2020. But where are they coming from and why do you think they're coming? It's got to be more than just the weather.
So I actually was making a list in my mind of the people that have been coming here and the reasons why. So the places that they're coming from, one of the top places is California. And I think because of the prices there, the taxes there, the restrictions that they've had with COVID, that is one of the biggest things that a lot of people are choosing to relocate to Georgia. The state lockdowns that they're having and, the experience that they're having with COVID in their state has made them choose to relocate somewhere else. And a lot of people also, because of COVID, they've been able to go remotely in their job. And they're like, I'm not going to stay here anymore if I don't have to physically go to work. So I'm going to move to the South where people are nicer and the weather's nicer and, the houses aren't as expensive. So the big places right now, and I always have people come in like pods. So like right now I have a bunch of Oregon buyers that are coming here. So it's like California, Oregon, New York, New Jersey, Nevada. So anywhere, basically, there's a lot of people coming, but those states that have really been affected by COVID and are still having a lot of state lockdowns are really choosing to relocate here to Georgia.
Yeah, that's interesting because pre-COVID, the majority of people that I had been working with seemed to come from New York, New Jersey, Ohio, and Indiana. Like, what is this mass exodus from Indianapolis? I don't know, but I got a ton of people from Indiana. Now that the life has changed and everything has changed, agreed. It seems to be coming from these states where they haven't been able to go to a restaurant. They haven't been able to go get their hair cut. People are just over it and they want to go somewhere. Now, Atlanta is kind of an entity in and of itself when we talk about Georgia, because that is obviously the biggest city in the state, the most densely populated area. However, here in the Savannah area, we are just not seeing those kinds of problems. Knock on wood, we are able to go to a restaurant. It is not only outdoor dining. We are able to go to stores. Yes, we have mask restrictions, just like everybody does, but we're able to go on about our life. My schools are open. My kids are in school during the day. Chatham County, I believe, is still only virtual. I live in Effingham County, but we are able to go out and do things. And I think that that's really appealing to people who have just been so restricted for a year now. It's February. It's been a whole year since all this craziness started. It's nuts. So yeah, that's interesting that you're saying Oregon. A lot of people from Oregon. I was not aware that we had so many people coming from that area, but I agree. So if you are interested in moving to the Georgia area, yeah, our quality of life here is very, very different. And thank goodness for that, right? So let's see what else. I was really hoping that Kimberly from the Augusta team was going to be able to join us today, but she is having terrible internet issues at her house and was not able to jump on. Creed team, Dallas Fort Worth, we're experiencing a huge influx of relo from California as well. Yep, I know. It's like when it costs less to live somewhere, and you can work anywhere. That's probably one of the nicest things that's come about from COVID. Maybe the only nice thing is that companies have finally realized that you can work from home. And if you're working from home, does it matter whether you're 10 miles away or 50 miles away or 3,000 miles away? As long as you are reachable by phone and email and instant messaging, you can live anywhere. So it's nice that people are finally getting the message that, yes, I could relocate and I could live somewhere where it'll cost me 1/5 the house price and have a better quality of life and still be able to work for the same company and not have to worry about finding a new job when I get there. So that leads me into, what have the average house prices done over the last year? Because I used to talk on our channel a lot about how affordable it was to live here, how inexpensive it was. Our median home price was below 250,000. What are you seeing now?
So we were doing a little bit of research about the prices of homes, and the median price now is gone up $75,000, and it's about $315,000 now. So we went from 240,000 to 315,000, which is a big jump. And
In 1 year.
in 1 year. And I am seeing that in person while I'm showing homes to people, especially with new construction homes with the prices going up. If, new construction homes, they've been having some issues with, related to COVID in regards to building materials and lumber shortages, and just being able to, instead before where a planned community could have a bunch of homes built and have inventory ready for people to go see. Now, because of COVID, they've changed their strategy, and they may pour lots and have lots available, but they're not going to build until they have a person under contract for that house. So not only is that changed a little bit for people actually being able to see new construction homes, but on top of that, the prices are increasing, and they're increasing every quarter now. So a house last year in 2019 in Richmond Hill, new construction, that was 230,000 is now worth 275,000 here. And it's just insane the amount of the prices are going up.
It's so true. So Nicole, you and I put a property on the market about 10 days ago now that they had purchased it for, it was 229, remind me?
223.
223. We listed it 18 months later for 270, 269.9, and we got multiple offers on it. So if you're in the Georgia area and you're thinking of selling, this is a really good time to sell because there's so much demand for your house. We just don't have enough houses available. When we talk about available inventory, it means supply and demand. How much supply is there compared to how much demand there is? And there is a lot more demand than there is supply. So if you are selling, that's great news for you because it means you can put your house on the market as long as you price it at fair market value. You're going to be able to sell it very quickly. With any luck, you'll have multiple offers. You get to choose the offer that you feel is the strongest, that has the most practically guarantee of going through without any hiccups. And then you can move somewhere else. The downside is that if you are staying in Georgia and you want to find a replacement home, that's going to be you as the buyer. So it takes a little bit of finagling to say, okay, should I buy first and then sell? Should I put this house on the market, knowing that I might not be able to find a replacement house right away? And if that happens, then what do I do? Do I go live with mom and dad? Do I go live in an extended stay America? Do I live in an Airbnb? Those are details that we, as the Georgia Coast Homes team, can help you with, but there are things that you definitely need to consider because, yep, those it's crazy the way the prices have gone up. Now, compared to other states, we are still super dirt cheap. I mean, compared to California, it's nothing. Compared to New Jersey, compared to, gosh,
Colorado.
I was chatting with Corey in Monmouth County, New Jersey yesterday. She said, I am showing homes at the $1.2 million price point, and all of them have multiple offers at well over $1 million. And these are not mansions. They're nice houses. Let's not lie. I mean, they're very nice houses, but they are not mansions in the Hollywood Hills. And for them to be getting multiple offers at well over $1 million, for you to be able to move to Georgia and buy a house for 300,000, 350,000. So Doug Bolin says, I'm looking to buy a second home in the Savannah area, but I'm nervous about the market going up so fast. Well, if it's going to be a vacation home for you, like, are you looking to buy a rental property or are you looking to buy a vacation home out at the beach? I think that our Airbnb market out at Tybee Island is so strong. I was chatting about this with some people from my office the last week. Is it a good time to buy a short-term vacation rental, knowing that you will be able to rent it out very, very easily? Tybee Island, man, in the season, which is probably from Memorial Day to Labor Day, and then maybe a little bit on either side of it, just because we're warm most of the year. It's not like going to Maine or Cape Cod. You can come March to October. That sucker's going to be rented out very, very easily, especially the closer it is to the beach. So if your goal is to get something to use personally whenever you want to take a nice vacation, but then rent it the rest of the time, Tybee and Wilmington Island and those barrier islands, I still think are going to be very strong. What do you think, Nicole?
I agree. I agree. The short-term vacation rental, or even just, for your own personal use, is a great idea. But the one thing I will tell you is I do have clients that are looking on Wilmington Island, and Wilmington Island, I don't believe there's any new construction because it's more of an established area. So if you find a house, typically right now, what I'm seeing is that houses that are decently priced and they look amazing, they go within a week usually. So that's something to be aware of if you are looking in those areas.
Okay. So Doug clarified, said, I'm looking to live here 10 out of 12 months of the year. He's going to be a snowbird and he's going to probably only be in Massachusetts over the summer when you can go out on the boat and enjoy the weather and then the rest of the time be here. Um, you know, I just bought a house in November, so I can speak from personal experience. We decided to sell our house that was in a homeowners association. We moved out to the country. We bought 6 acres. We're surrounded by woods. We've got a pond. Like, we figured if we're going to be spending all this time at home, we really want to have something we enjoy. It has a chicken coop. I'm so excited. We're going to get some chickens in the spring and we're going to have fresh eggs and we are doing the whole country thingy. And having just recently bought myself, I will tell you that I was doing backflips at the closing table when I was able to sign that paperwork, getting a 2.75% interest rate. And then it went down after that even more. But 2.75 is unheard of in my entire life Since the day I was born, interest rates have never been that low. I remember my parents buying a house when I was in high school. I think it was 13% interest rate. When I grew up and I got married and we were buying our first house, 5.5% was a screaming deal. And now it was 2.75. Now, if this is going to be not your primary residence, it's going to be a second residence, it is going to be slightly higher than that. But let's say that it's still 3.75%. That's still a really, really good interest rate. So if the plan is to buy something and hang on to it long term, I personally am not worried about it. Yes, the market fluctuates. It goes up, it goes down. Nobody can ever predict what's going to happen. I do not personally foresee a huge crash like what we saw in 2008 because the circumstances are completely different. That was caused by all of these crazy mortgage lending laws that happened. If you could fog a mirror, you got a loan. You got a ninja loan. No income, no job, no assets. You didn't have to do anything. As long as you were willing to sign on the dotted line, you got a house. And then, of course, when your mortgage payment is $4,000 a month, you can't repay that and you lose the house. This is a completely different circumstance. So I don't see that happening. I can see values slightly going down before they go up again, but I just don't think we're going to have this major housing market crash of 2021 that people love to go on YouTube and talk about. Nicole, what do you think?
I don't think so either. And I will tell you from personal experience with working with clients that a lot of the lenders that we work with here locally are having a lot of regulations and restrictions in regards to COVID. So, for example, if you are considered remote at your job and you move here, they actually need some type of transfer letter from your employer, or they need to know in the system that you are actually remote and that you're going to remain remote and not just you went remote because of COVID and then after COVID you're going to go back to normal, because then they cannot give you a loan based on that because you're not going to be in the same state. So you really have to make sure that, you know, with your employer that you guys are on the same page and that, you know, there are certain restrictions with COVID and getting a loan, and not just everybody's going to get a loan. And they do a really great job of making sure that they're giving people that, you know, qualify for it a loan to purchase a home.
I agree.
And the lowest rate that I've seen so far is 2.25.
Oh my gosh. What kind of a loan was that? Was that VA?
VA. Mm-hmm. Yep.
2.25. That's truly unheard of. I mean, we say it all the time. These are the lowest rates in history, but it truly is the lowest interest rates in history. That is insane. So, Doug, to answer your question, if this is not something that you're planning to buy and then only hold on to for a couple of years and then get rid of, I think that you would be perfectly fine. If your goal is to have something that you can enjoy long term and maybe pass it down to the kids. I know that my grandparents had it was a bed and breakfast. It wasn't an Airbnb. It was called a bed and breakfast back then on the coast of Maine. And they left it to my mom and dad when they both passed away. The plan was for mom and dad to leave it to the kids, but they decided it was too much of a pain to run and they got rid of it. We were like, but that would have been great if that could have been passed down through the family, because it is oceanfront property in Maine that my grandfather bought in the 50s for $30,000. Now it's worth like $2 million in craziness because of inflation and, you know, property values and all that kind of thing. So as long as this would be a long-term property for you to hold, now's the time to buy something that you truly enjoy where you live. We're spending so much time home. You want to have something that you like, that you're going to be able to stay there for a long time and make it your own. So let's see if we have any final questions as we are wrapping up. This has been an awesome very first live stream for us. I hope that you had a good time, Nicole. I think it's lots of fun to talk about this kind of stuff.
I did. And I hope that, you know, anybody who's watching, that they got some good information. And if you're choosing to come here, let us know and we'll help you out.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions at all, you are always welcome to go to georgiacoasthomes.com. I will put it on here right now. Not like it's hard to remember, but georgiacoasthomes.com is the place to get more information, to find out more about living here, what the typical house prices are like, what it looks like to live here. Oh my goodness, we have somebody joining us from Brazil. I have to put that on the screen right now. That's pretty cool. And we're always happy to to help you in any way. So, Myra, thank you for joining us today. Yes, you will love Georgia. If we can do anything to answer your questions or help you, you can just go to georgiacoasthomes.com. Let us know. We would certainly love to help you in any way. Doug, thank you for joining us today. And until next time, signing off. We will see you guys later.